Yes, lads, how's it going? Spurs Related here, and we're back with another match preview. Brighton at home tomorrow, another huge 3 points needed in the race for top four. And as always, I am joined by, of course, Andre from Spurs Related. Andre, how you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Really excited about this next game. It's been quite a while since we've seen this sort of winning streak going on with Tottenham. So I
Absolutely.
definitely think now, I think Ellie was the one who said it, that it looks like we've turned the page. And
Definitely.
I definitely said, I think we were 2 wins in that time. I said, if we can keep that going, then I will agree. And I'm at that point now. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as the title of the video says, we're going for 5 wins in a row. I can't remember the last time we did that exactly, Andre. So, yeah, let's hope we can get the job done tomorrow and get a 6 point lead over Arsenal, with obviously them messing up last weekend. What a weekend it was. Unbelievable stuff. Still can't believe it. Um, yeah, preview video today live, obviously. Hopefully, should cover the head-to-head between the two teams, the injury news, maybe a predicted lineup segment, obviously your score predictions, and of course those key 5 players that we need to watch out for from Brighton. 3 players. Sometimes we turn it into 4. It's Andre's special surprise if we have an extra one for you guys today. But let's invite and welcome in some of the Spurs relatables in the chat, guys. If you think I sound a bit weird to normal, I've got a little bit of a lurgy, but nothing too serious. But listen, Kuva's in here first actually today. Where is Iron Army? I mean, let's ask that question. Kuva 99, of course we can. 6-0 all the way. Some with another hat-trick. COYS, absolutely love it, Kuva. Hope you're doing well, mate, and I love your optimism as always. And here he is. I mean, it didn't take long, did it? Here he is, Ayanami saying COYS best front 3 in the world, and he says, "I vengeance." Matty Cash, yeah, what an annoying moment that was last weekend. Like, everything positive, obviously, with Man United and Arsenal losing, Spurs winning 4-0 at Villa, but then Matt Doherty out for the rest of the season with a nasty knee injury, which rules him out for a few months. Very, very sad news. Mark's changed his YouTube name. Welcome in, Mark. He's Mark Lager Lout Cousins. Mark, not sure if you got married over the weekend or whether you just like beer and lager, but either way, mate, welcome on in. He says, "Evening, lads. I'll go for a 9." Wow, I thought it was
Wow.
9. 7-0. 7-0. Wow, what do you think of that, Andre?
That's quite a score prediction, but you know what? I will, if that ends up being true, hats off, honestly.
Yeah, I'll buy you a few lagers, Mark, if that's true. Honestly, I really will. Wembley's in here. Wembley, how you doing, mate? He says, "Evening, guys. Take it from a Spurs fan of over 50 years standing. Just when you think everything's going well and hopes are high, bitter experience tells me disaster's around the corner." Listen, Wembley, it's great to see you, but let's come in with optimistic kind of thoughts today. And I do understand what you're saying. Of course, I'm very used to it myself. Not quite 50 years of experience with Spurs, but listen, we're all used to seeing Spurs kind of fall at the final hurdle, disappoint us when we're least expecting it. And listen, I think we've turned a page from that kind of moment. You know, we've got a Conte mentality, we've got a Conte working team now. And I'm just thinking, you know, that is behind us now. We've got rid of that inconsistency, like Andre reflected on Ellie's comments, saying we turned that corner. I think we turned the corner. And against Brighton, yes, they beat Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal fans are hoping they'll return the favour and beat us. But listen, I just don't think. I think I went to the game away at Brighton, as you guys will remember, and I just think we're a lot better team than Brighton, and we're playing so well. We're probably playing one of the best styles of football in the Premier League right now. We're scoring the most amount of goals in the Premier League. We've got the front 3 who have all scored the most amount of goals or assists in the Premier League since 2022. It's crazy stats. I just can't see it, Andre. What are your thoughts, mate?
Well, Tottenham are the team that keeps on giving, both in towards us and to other teams. So you never know. They have surprised me multiple times. The Europa League match where we got knocked out comes to mind, especially. That was just, I couldn't believe it. But you know what? I think we should just stay positive here in the way that we can. Of course, usually I'm the one who's being negative here, but
Yeah.
I'm going to try and be a little positive today. I'm feeling good about this.
Love it, mate. Love the positivity, Andre, as always, mate. And we're always positive on this channel. You won't catch us negative unless, of course, we've taken a battering, maybe to like when we lost to Burnley. We were a bit negative that day. But listen, I just think before we get into kind of our player analysis and player reviews, I just think, whatever happens tomorrow, we've just got to remember that we still got Arsenal around the corner. We've still got it in our hands. We've almost got that one game cushion now of maybe losing one and then still beating Arsenal and beating them on goal difference. But obviously, we don't want to do it like that. We want to win as many games before that and hopefully tie up before we even play Arsenal. We've still got 4 or 5 games before Arsenal. So I just think we've got to continue the way we're going. The momentum is amazing. I'm glad got rid of all the international breaks now. Nothing like that can get in our way. 4 wins on the trot. Let's make it 5 tomorrow against Brighton at our fortress, which is really becoming a fortress since, Southampton and Wolves losses. We haven't really dropped any points there. And listen, let's just go on and carry on this top 4 surge. And I think it's ours to lose, as we know.
Yeah, that's a good. Those. Sorry, I agree with you on that. We are at a point now where it's ours to lose, so we just got to take it one game at a time now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's get through a few more comments, Andre, and maybe let's review some players. Cool. Wembley saying we're still thin in key positions, though. If Kane gets his annual injury tomorrow, we are sunk. Firstly, let's hope that's the second pessimistic comment from you, Wembley. I'm gonna have to have a word with you on the hat trick. But listen, no. You're right. These things could happen, but I do think our squad depth isn't the best, and I've said this for months now. But on the other hand, Son is providing the goals at the moment, and Kane is, Son is scoring the goals, and Kane is providing them on the whole at the moment. You've also got Kulusevski that's scoring goals and assisting goals. 6 goals he's assisted and 3 goals he's scored. You've also got players popping up from wing-back scoring. Yes, it's a shame that Doherty's got injured, but Reguilon can score a couple of goals here and there. And I don't want to say Emerson can score us goals. He's got 1. But then you look at Bentancur, hopefully should start getting amongst the goals soon. But my point is, I don't feel like Kane is everything this team. Kane is our vocal point. Kane is our main player. If we lose him, it's a huge loss. I agree. And we haven't got the squad depth to replace Kane. No team in the world does. Kane is a one-off player. But what I'm saying is I just think Son and Kulu could see off a lot of the weakest sides, especially, the likes of maybe Leicester at home, Brentford away. I think if we didn't have Kane, I still do honestly believe we'd beat them. It's when we play Arsenal at home, Liverpool away, where I'd be very, very concerned without Harry Kane. But listen, we all know how important he is to this football club. But I just do think he's maybe not as big a proportion of the need as he was before, if I'm making any sense. I think we can cope better without him than previously, but then people may disagree. What do you think, Andre?
So just to clarify what you're saying, which I think this is exactly what you're saying, the level that Kane's at has not changed. It is up here. He is so important to this club, but the level that comes after is not down here anymore. There's players that have stepped up, and that includes
really well.
That includes Kulusevski. So all James is trying to say here is that we've got players who have stepped up. So if Kane does go down, it won't be the scariest of situations like it used to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't explain that very well, but you're spot on. You're spot on there, Andre. Like, we have got those players that can get us some goals when we really need it. And I still do think we'd really struggle without Kane. Don't get me wrong. But I just think we don't rely on him as heavily as before. But I mean, we still do rely on him a lot. He's creating a lot of our goals, dropping deep and stuff. So I don't know. Let's see. He says, I hope Emerson steps up. He's got a big job ahead of him in the next 7 games. Absolutely. He's got a huge job ahead of him. Dermot from Tottenham Tangent Gold called me Scrumpy because I live inside a county, but I hate cider, so change to my drink. Love it, mate. Kageta saying, my guys, Kageta, I hope you're well, mate. Lovely to see you as always. Joseph's in here. It says COYS. I don't think that's the Spurs related Joseph, because I don't think he'd be saying COYS. But listen, hopefully, Joseph, you're a huge Spurs fan, and appreciate you being here. Wembley saying Kane is managing himself through games much better this season. He isn't lunging and stretching for 50-50 balls as much now. He is saving himself to a degree because he knows he's playing every minute. No, that's a very good point. Maybe like a bit of game preservation here, a bit of Conte magic, kind of preserving those legs for a few more games. And yeah, I mean, you're very right, Wembley. Maybe Conte's told him how to be a bit more clever with managing his energy levels and his inputs and outputs. Gagetta saying, gimme a ginger from Sweden. Absolutely love it, mate. Jack saying, Jack Kanicki is in the building with that profile picture that always cracks me up. Jack, hope you're well, mate. He says, I'm worried, guys. This weekend isn't starting right. Had a slight shaving accident. I was wondering where you're going until I heard the last bit, Jack. I thought I was going to have to bring that off screen there, mate. He said, massive bald spot in the beard. Worried this could be an omen for tomorrow. Jack, I'm looking forward to seeing that on the Irish Hotspur in just a few minutes' time. Well, I say a few minutes, about 20, 30 minutes. I'll be over there, guys. So make sure after this, you get over to the Irish Hotspur and watch myself, Jack, Dave, and I believe Danny Kiriaku's on tonight, and Sean. It's a bit of a lineup, guys. Joseph's here saying, I pray we get top 4. But it's a long way to go. Not sure on the Kane comment, guys. He is our creative outlet for me. We have had players who improve us, but creativity is really I am a Spurs fan. Nice to find your channel. No, it's great to see you, mate. It's really great to see you. And listen, I'm not here sitting here for 1 minute saying if we lost Kane, we'd still be all right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think Andre explained it really well. You know, when we had Kane scoring all the goals, we had players down here that weren't doing enough. The likes of Lamela, the likes of Lo Celso, the likes of Ndombele that weren't providing enough. What I'm saying now is we have Kulusevski and even Son stepped it up that extra level where we can have some kind of some players soaking up the goals and delivering goals when he would be absent. But you're right about the creativity thing for sure. He's almost become even more creative now. So I think it is it's a good debate. Bertie Hotspurs here saying, greeting guys, give another dose of positivity. Spurs will have a run of 15 games under Conte. Spurs 6-0 victory.
Wow.
Bertie, love that, mate. Absolutely love that positivity and welcome on in, mate. And one more comment. It says, Jack, won't be there, James. Sorry. Seeing some family this weekend. Shouldn't be apologising to me, mate. I'm over on your channel. You know, and also we wouldn't want to see that ball bit in your beard, Jack. Get that growing back by next time. I wish I could do that. And I'll be saying, I think if Kane does get injured, we would switch to a 3-5-2. We would have to manage somehow. Exactly. It's all about finding a way, and Conte knows exactly how to do that. And I think that's a perfect timing, guys. 15 of you in here. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. Let's get into some player reviews. But smash that thumbs up button if you are enjoying that video, guys. Just like I was saying. Here's player 1. Andre, over to you, my man.
Perfect. So I'm sure all of you aren't surprised that Bissouma has made it into the 3 players to look out for. He may not have that many goals or many assists this season with just 1 each. But with those 23 matches he's played, he has a 90% pass completion rate and an 84% tackle success. Talk about a guy who's bossing the midfield. It's this guy. Not to mention that I know, James, for a fact that you rate him, and I know that a bunch of Spurs fans rate him. And if we were linked to him, I'm sure no one would have a problem with that.
100%. I love him. I really do like him. I think he's a great player. He doesn't exactly score many goals or assist goals, but he's almost like, I don't like comparing him to the GOAT that is Moussa Dembele, but he does remind me of a Moussa Dembele kind of player. Very good with the ball at his feet, mops up, attacks that just get a tackle in straight away. He seems to always do that. And he can hit a ball. He can strike a ball. He can score a long-range goal. And he's just a box-to-box midfielder. He's full of energy. It's what we need in that team, especially with squad depth. I wouldn't necessarily say like you put this guy straight in our midfield, but if you get rid of Harry Winks and get Bissouma back in the squad, like that is just huge.
Clean stuff there, man.
Huge.
Yeah. One thing to note that I'm sure Conte will be telling them is to really bait him into tackling them, because he has 9 yellow cards this season.
Oh, wow.
So from those 23 matches, he's managed 9. So clearly, but to be fair, it's a Brighton team. No offense. So I'm sure he's trying to just get the ball back in any way necessary. But yeah, so 100%, that's going to be, I think, the biggest way to sort of take advantage of this player who's really good is to just bait him into drawing a foul. As soon as he gets that yellow card, he's going to have to be very careful. So I think that they should really prioritize getting him to foul, and then that way he has to be careful for the rest of the match.
100%. Yeah, very good point. Yeah, 9 yellow cards. Wow, nearly on 10. Not many players have that this season, and like you said, likes to put in a hefty challenge. A bit like I was just saying, makes a good tackle. Sometimes takes one for the team as well. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the referee's notepad tomorrow.
Yep, yep. Let's see what we got here. Marcelino Tiro Rudman, welcome
Rude
back.
man, here he is, the
Welcome back.
rude man, legend.
So what's your opinion on Spurs potentially buying a striker there, James?
Um, I just think with Spurs and signing a striker, it's never going to be someone that's going to challenge Kane for a place. Like, hopefully, we're going to hold on to Kane. We're not going to see any more transfer sagas about him this coming window. I'm sure the media will do everything in their way to try and unsettle us. But I just think with a striker at Spurs that's going to be sitting on the bench and filling in for Kane when need be, we're going to get the levels that we've seen before, probably. We're going to get the likes of Fernando Llorente. I'm not saying we're going to get him back. I'm saying, a backup striker of that caliber, maybe even a Carlos Vinicius. I'd like to see us get someone a little bit better than those guys. But
Mm-hmm.
also at the same time, you've got to understand players won't want to come to the club and just sit on the bench. And yes, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, we'll get Champions League and attract bigger players. But I just think, I don't think that is somewhere where we need to look straight away, especially with Son and Kulusevski that can also play as a striker as well. Like Son is almost a striker anyway. Um, I think we need to focus on other positions in the summer first, which involves a right wing back, probably a left wing back, a left centre back for sure, another centre mid, and get rid of Winks. I mean, there's 3 or 4 positions I've just named off the top of my tongue. I
Yeah.
think striker is 5th or 6th kind of string, priority on the priority list. So I just think, I hope we do get one. But if I'm going to beat myself up and we don't get one, I just want to see a right wing back signed, a left centre back, a centre mid, and probably even we need to start looking at goalkeepers. I mean, I still love Hugo Lloris. I think he's world class. But we know the project is we're trying to get in a new striker and goalkeeper, and it probably could be this summer.
Yeah, I like that analysis, and I do think honestly, if Kane is the future for the next 3-4 seasons, um, I think it would be best to get a striker with a lot of experience rather than bring someone who's going to sort of step up over time. Because what step up is he going to do if Kane's always playing? So I
Exactly.
do think having someone that's already established who knows that his role is to be that backup and can step up if he needs to. So that would
Spot on.
be the way to go. So honestly, get yourself an older striker.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind that, especially because honestly, those older strikers don't ever peg down the age. Like they think they can come clutch.
Exactly that, and now he's just. But I think you're describing Belotti exactly, like maybe a little bit of an older player, a bit of experience, been at Torino a number of years, and is a Serie A player, which Conte can mold into being an absolute baller here as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I completely agree with what you're saying, Andre. Like we've been on other podcasts and we've said, we'd love, Jonathan David, Vlahovic when he was available, and obviously we didn't get him. But like Jonathan David, let's go with that example. 21 years of age, I think he is. I mean, for like it would be amazing, but he can't sit on the bench and just waste his early years of his career. It's just not possible, and he's going to cost like 70-80 million, maybe even more. You'd be able to tell me, Andre, but I just think that would be a waste of talent sitting on the bench, and he wouldn't start games. So I do think what we're saying here is I think we have to look at a bit of experience players, maybe coming not to the end of their career, but that end, and just snap someone off that can come off the bench and score some goals.
Yeah. Something funny though about Belotti is just like Insigne a few months back, Toronto FC are also linked to Belotti. So we'll see who wins this one.
Unbelievable.
But anyways, last thing here, Joseph predicting a 2-0 win against Spurs win. So yeah, I like your positivity there, Joe. And we'll talk about those predictions a little bit later. But let's move on to the next one. This is Enoch Muepu, who is currently very much on form, has been injured multiple times this season, but he is not injured for this upcoming game. He is a midfielder as well, right beside Bissouma. In 17 matches, he scored 3 goals, 6 assists. The most recent match against Arsenal, he scored 1 goal and 1 assist. So thank you, Muepu, honestly.
Unbelievable. I mean, when I saw that it was him that had scored, just to put it in perspective, like I saw this guy come into Brighton. Like Brighton, I think I've said numerous times to this podcast, they're kind of my local team. I kind of do keep a close eye on them. And when I saw this guy come in, and he came from, I think it was the Belgian league, I was thinking, like, who is this guy? Like, why are they signing these random players? And oh my goodness, he's actually turning into a bit of a baller, a bit of a nuisance. Very quick, very versatile, can get forward, can score a goal, can put in a cross, can mop up, defend. He is a bit like almost like Basuma V2, maybe a bit more attacking than Basuma, but he he's brilliant, and the goal he scored against Arsenal was brilliant as well. Don't know if you saw it, Andre, but listen, he could be a handful for us tomorrow, and I think he's starting to start more games. I don't think he was starting loads of games to start with when he came into Brighton, but he really is starting games now, and yeah, we need to keep an eye on this guy for sure. Like you said, Andre, 3 goals, 6 assists in 17 matches played, pretty good stats.
For a midfielder, 100%. And the thing is, he is a little injury prone, as seen this season. But when he has played in those bursts of games where he gets maybe 5 games, then gets injured again, he always has goals and assists in there. At the moment, he's managing a 75% pass completion. His tackle success is not very good, 54%, which, that means he'll be the attacking midfielder, while Bisuma's the one that tracks back a little bit. And in those 17 matches, he's only managed 1 yellow card. So even though his tackle success isn't very good, he's clearly being very careful about the tackles he makes.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Wow, yeah, 1 yellow card, not bad, is it? Not bad.
Not bad at all. And you know what? Respect to him, because honestly, I'm sure every Spurs fan here is happy that he demolished Arsenal the way that he did.
Yes, but please don't do it to us, Mwepu.
Yeah, just take it easy against us, please. Honestly. But yeah, so Bissouma, Mwepu, looks like the midfield's the main threat here. I'm sure that you remember the attacking wasn't very strong the last time we played them. Right, James?
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Their attack was well off it last game against us, and we kind of just soaked up the pressure. They had so many chances where they got into the box and just didn't pull the trigger. And yeah, I thought we dealt with them very well in that game at the Amex.
Yeah, if anything, I feel bad for these guys because they're doing all the work, giving it off to the attacking, and then nothing.
Yeah, nothing. They just mess around with it too much in the box. They call them Brighton and Hove XG Albion. Like they just kind of mess around with it in the box. So they've even got their own FIFA stat now this year. So yeah, big up to Brian.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next one. Trossard, Leandro Trossard, a left winger / center attacking midfielder. Mainly plays on the left wing though. And his most recent match against Arsenal, he was the other goal scorer. So good on him. Thank you. He's currently holding a 79% pass completion, 60% tackle success, so he'll mainly be up top, which makes sense. And he's managed 2 yellow cards all season. So far, from 30 matches that he's played, 5 goals, 1 assist. What are your thoughts on him, James?
Yeah, it's the last bit for me that kind of strikes an opinion. Is like 5 goals, 1 assist isn't crazy numbers for 30 games played. Maybe 1 goal contribution every 5 games. But as we know, Brighton have been struggling with the goals, especially in the last few games. They kind of, like we said, they kind of mess around with it too much in the box and don't really put in a good shot or good finish. Trossard's a very skillful player. He will cause problems, but for me, I think we can deal with him. And the other thing is, thank you very much for scoring against Arsenal, like Andre said. But the only thing I would say about Trossard is he's very tricky. And if Ben Davies and the likes of Dyer aren't closing him down correctly or aren't, maybe giving him too much space, he will weave in and out. He will get a cross in. He will get a shot in. So maybe don't be fooled by those numbers, is what I'm saying. He can be a dangerous player, and he does play for Belgium a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, very good analysis. I would definitely be careful with him. He has scored 5 goals, which makes him, I think, around the 3rd or 4th highest scored player for this season for Brighton. So definitely keeping an eye out for him. His pace will definitely be a problem on the right side. So Emerson, keep track of him, please.
Absolutely, yeah. Emerson needs a good game tomorrow. Definitely, 100%.
Yep. Well, what do we got here? Seeing that it is a home game for us and knowing how much Conte wants our home to be our fortress, I'm going for a 3-0 victory for us tomorrow. And in doing so, we would be that much closer to securing CL football for next season. Well, you know what? That's the perfect timing because actually, I think that it is time to talk about... first let's talk about the form. We got to talk about form. I almost forgot about that. Tottenham and Brighton. You want to take this one away there, James? What's the last 5 games looking like here for them?
Yeah, for sure. So as you can see, like the last 5 games, I've seen no draws, but 4 wins for us, 1 win for Brighton. Um, pretty good stats considering Brighton are actually a tough opponent to play. We got much of the better of them in the last game, as we know, 2-0 at the Amex. Then 3-1 in the Cup, which was Benson Kurzewski's debut off the bench, if you remember. We were already 3-1 up when they came on.
Right,
Then the
right.
1-0 loss at the Amex was last season. That was a frustrating one, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then came before that was a 2-1 win, where Bale scored his first goal back for Spurs
Yeah.
in the win there at the Tottenham Stadium behind closed doors in the midst of COVID. And 2-1 at home, a win on Boxing Day in 2019. So all in all, we seem to normally get the better of Brighton, which is brilliant to see. I just think when we've got that home advantage as well, that seems to be almost like where we do get the better of Brighton. Like the games where we slipped up against Brighton always do seem to be away. Obviously, that 1-0 that's displayed there, but also the one that always lives a bit rent free in my head is when it was Poch's last game before he got sacked, the 3-0 demolishing where we lost 3-0 at the Amex and Lloris broke his shoulder and everything went wrong that day. Aaron
Yeah.
Connolly scored 2 goals and he hasn't done anything since. That game does obviously haunt me a bit, but I mean, like we said, Conte's changed this team massively. I think our mentality's changed, and I do think we've got the quality to go and beat Brighton. And obviously, we'll move on to score predictions in just a minute. But maybe what's your thoughts on the head-to-head?
No, I agree with you. I do think that Conte has managed a way where even if we are playing sort of shit in the first half,
Yeah,
whatever, I don't know what exactly he says to them during halftime, but they come back a completely different team.
100%.
So, yeah. But you know what? Let's talk about their form for a minute. So, Alexander Hilton steak. Yep.
Love it. He's here when he says steak.
So for Brighton at the moment, in their last 5 games, they've lost 3, drawn 1, and won just the one game against Arsenal. So I mean, if you want to take it that way, they're coming off of a really strong win, the 2-1 win, Mwepu being absolutely class and Bissouma being class as well. A midfield masterclass, if anything.
Mm.
But the thing is, in those last 5 games, they have only scored, I believe it is 3
Three.
goals,
3, yep.
and they've let in 8 goals.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
they are sort of in a position where, as you can see, they are just asking for us to score on them. So we'll see what happens. While Tottenham, on the other hand, let's compare them. They've scored 16 goals in their last 5 games and let in 7. So we've almost let in as many goals as Brighton has, but we've been outscoring all the teams. So that's if we can keep up that sort of mentality, I guess, that sort of form, we should be fine. And then hopefully next season, in the summer, we can bring in some defenders. So we're in a position where we're scoring 16 goals and only letting in like 1 or 2.
Absolutely, yeah. And like you said about Brighton, they really are struggling to score goals, but they are going to come off that high, that morale against Arsenal. They didn't score against Norwich. They had like 20-something shots at home, 0-0. So as we know, and like we've said already in this podcast, Brighton do seem to get in great positions, but can't finish their dinner. They can't get the goals in. And they lost to Newcastle 2-1 and we beat them 5-1. Like, I hate to do the maths and things like that, but if you're going off kind of current form and how everything's going, the fact we can wipe sides away like Villa and Newcastle and they're struggling to even beat Norwich at home, that's got to go in our favour. But like you said, Andre, a 2-1 win, probably one of their biggest wins of the season away at Arsenal. They seem to always do well against Arsenal. Long may it continue, but I just would take it with a pinch of salt. Just because they beat an Arsenal who were shocking, they aren't on great form, Brighton. They really aren't.
Yeah, Nami makes a good point here. There was almost no midfielders going on in Arsenal's favor. So in a way, you know, you do gotta think about those things as well. But when a team is in a really good position, it seems like Brighton don't really get it over the line. So let's just take that mentality and go in. But while we're talking about that, let's bring up the injuries here. Do you want to talk to us about the Spurs injuries and the Brighton injuries?
For sure, yeah, of course. So for Spurs, Tanganga's still out with his knee injury. I believe he will be out for the rest of the season. Skip has a groin injury still, as we know. Not 200%, sure about the extent of that. And, it's kind of crazy how those weeks keep getting pushed back without for Skip. But hopefully Skippy will be back very soon. And then Doherty, obviously, back to the injury bench. I mean, wow, what a shame. Matt Cash should be an absolute disgrace. Ashamed of himself, and don't know how he didn't get a yellow card, by the way, in that.
Right.
And yeah, Doherty's out for a few months with a horrendous knee injury, and not good. But for Brighton, Alzate has a thigh injury, but also is ill, so he's definitely out. Shane Duffy is out with a thigh injury, which is good for us because Shane Duffy's probably one of their best centre backs, certainly one of their more experienced centre backs. And Jacob Moder has just had surgery, I believe, on his knee, cruciate ligament, and he's out for them as well, who's actually a pretty good player. So 3 injuries for us, 3 injuries for them. Makes it nice and even. But it's less lucky for us. It's not one of our kind of main big boys that are out, touch wood. And that doesn't happen, whoever said about getting Kane injured, because I can't be asked to be reading that out next week.
Yeah, 100%. But good. Thank you there for going over the injuries. Hopefully, Motor feels better soon and he recovers properly. It's whenever I hear about someone going through surgery, it just But
yeah, not nice, not nice.
But at least he'll, he won't be playing against us, so that's good. Yanami here saying, Mope, you're a cheat, and I hope Brighton get relegated. Honestly, he was so wasteful against us last time. Remember that open shot he had, and he just kind of passed it to Lloris.
Do you know what that's from, though? Do you know what that's from? That line. The Arsenal Fan TV, Ty from Arsenal Fan TV, when Morpay basically he goes up to the camera and goes, "I just got one thing to say, Morpay, you're cheap. Hope Brighton get relegated." It was so funny.
Funny. I remember that now. I've seen that. It like the voice is playing in my head. That's hilarious.
Rudeman saying at the moment Brighton's defense is a bit leaky, and for that, it's a good thing. We have been free scoring recently. Absolutely, Rudeman. We're on fire, and they have been a bit leaky. You're spot on. Elviston is saying, "Hey guys, how are you? Missed you so much. Meet up tomorrow after the game." I'm not going to the game, mate. But of course you can catch us with our match review after the game tomorrow for sure. So check that out. But in terms of meeting up at the game, Elvis, I'm not there tomorrow, mate. I would have loved to have had a drink with the Elvis. But if you're at the game, hopefully, or maybe you just mean meeting up on here after. Let me know. But either way, if you're going to the game, mate, enjoy it for sure. Maybe Andre, time to get in the score predictions. I think we have pretty much covered everything to do with head-to-heads and battles, player battles, ones to watch, and obviously the last 5. What do you think? Maybe score prediction time?
Yeah, score predictions time. Let's talk about that. And guys, get your score predictions up there. If you've already mentioned it, just do it again. That way we can see everyone's score predictions. But I'm gonna go with a 2-0 win. 2-0. I think that based off of the way that they've been playing, it seems like they never really get, destroyed. It's usually 2-1 or 2-0. That's actually what it's been recently. 2-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-1. It's just those kinds of sort of scores. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. I think that Tottenham are really going to dominate this game. But I do think that midfield is going to be the main sort of driving force on Brighton. But I also think that the forwards are going to be wasteful, as they have been throughout the season. Yes. Now, watch me have to eat my words when Trossard or something scores, and I'm going to be pretty annoyed.
Yeah.
Or Wepu goes and pulls some sort of masterclass and goes through our defense, which can happen and has happened before. But I do think that it is in us to outscore them. So that is where I lie my 2-0 win, because I do think our defense has been pretty solid recently as well.
Okay, interesting. An interesting analysis on the fact you hope that they won't score. You don't think they'll score, and hopefully you won't be eating your words on the review after the game. But guys, get your score predictions in. As always, we love to see what you guys think and see how close you guys get. I know a few of you have already got your scores in, but make sure you do smash them in the comments, and we'll bring them up on screen as always. But over to me, I guess, before we get the Spurs Relatable's opinions. You gone 2-0. So I was debating this as I was coming on stream. And my first thought was 3-0. And then I thought to myself, do you know what? We won 4-0 against Villa. We won 5-1 against Newcastle. And if you look at the 4-0 against Villa, we did very well not to concede. Like, in a way, we rode our luck with Lloris having an absolute blinder. And I do think there was times where Villa were wasteful. And of course, Brighton had that in them. But also, I do think we rode our luck. And I do think Brighton probably will get just the one. So I was going 3-0, and I would be agreeing with this man here, Rude Man, who's put 3-0. But I'm switching it, and I'm going 3-1 to Spurs. And I do think it will be, and I'm going with my scorers as well. I do think the main man, Son, will still be banging them in. So I'm going for 1 for Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kane will get 1 because he's due a goal, and he's created so much. I could see it even being a penalty. So I'm going Son, Kane. And I'm going for Kulusevski as well to keep up this 3 because I've predicted it for the last 2 weeks for all of them to score in a game. And it's going to happen at some point. Like a bit like Salah, Mane and Firmino, or Salah, Mane and Jota, or whoever you want to say. I think our front 3 are due a game where they all score and it's all happy days and, amazing. So I'm going for 3-1. Son, Kane, Kulusevski, KSK. And for them, I'm going to say it could be Trossard, but it could be Mwepu. I'm going to go for Trossard because I don't think Morpay is good enough to score. He didn't start the last game, I don't think. I think Danny Welbeck did. So it'd be interesting to see who starts up front for Brighton. But I'm going to say Kane, Son, Kulusevski, and Trossard.
Yeah, it's good analysis there. Actually, I didn't give my goal scorers, but let's talk about Ayanami here for a second. He's gone with my prediction, a 2-0. Son, 2 goals, 1 assist from Kulu and 1 from Kane.
He's even getting assists. Look at this guy. Amazing.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good. I mean, you can never go wrong if you put Son in there to score.
Leaving Son 1 goal from equaling Salah. Yeah, he's so close now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome if he got the golden boot, honestly. I'll say that for me, I'm going to go with, let's see how Ayanami's here. Would be amazing to have Son as the player of the month right after Kane. Yeah, honestly. But I'm going to go with 1 goal from Son, 1 goal from Kulusevski, and I think 1 assist will be from Kulusevski, and the Kulusevski goal will be an assist from Kane.
Love it. You even assisted. You get an assist in it. It's a new thing at Spurs Related, created by Ayanami. But guys, that is everything on your pre-match Brighton build-up. I hope you've enjoyed it as always. Thanks for all your comments and your score predictions and your thoughts on the game. And as always, please do make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Marcelino Roadman there putting in his scorers. Kane 2, Son 1. And Kulusevski with 2 assists. Absolutely love it. A&R saying COYS. You guys have been brilliant. The ones that have been here the whole video. The ones that have just popped in and put the score predictions. We massively appreciate that as well. And please do, like I said before, leave a like, subscribe. Andre, thanks for joining me as always.
Of course, mate. I'm always happy to be here and talk about Spurs.
And as always, guys, you will see us tomorrow after the game, straight after the game, match review, instant match review. You guys love it. The views have been crazy on those videos, nearly 800 views on the West Ham one. So, guys, make sure you join us after the game tomorrow. And remember, as always, come on, you Spurs! 3-0. No, 3-1.